Hello and good evening to everybody out there. Today is October the 5th, 2021. Man, time is flying. Hey, if you're listening out there on international shortwave, you've been listening to some 60s music on our show, Amateur Radio Roundtable. This show is about ham radio. And we have about 30 minutes pre-show where we play some 60s and 70s music, so that's probably what you've been listening to. Hopefully you're sticking around to hear the rest of the show. And it's about ham radio. If you're interested in ham radio, stick in here with us. We'd love to get an email from you. I don't get too many emails from the shortwave listeners, but I'd really, really like to hear from you. If you could, send an email to Tom at w5kub.com. It's Tom at w5kub.com. Send us an email. Let us know where you are in the world and how you're hearing the station, and I would just love to hear from you. Also, if you're listening out there or watching out here tonight, our show is live on our YouTube channel on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time on W5KUB channel on YouTube. But the best place, the easiest way to find it is just to go to our website, w5kub.com, and click on video and chat. And that'll take you right to the video, and also it will bring up the chat room that we use. We don't use the YouTube chat room anymore. We have our own chat room. So if you're out there and you haven't done this before, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. That helps us to rank our show, and it helps get information out to more and more people that are surfing YouTube. It helps them to find us. Tonight we got a lot to talk about tonight. It's just going to be Glenn and me. I think Katie is still locked up from some COVID lockdown somewhere. I don't know. She's okay. And Alan is working tonight, so he may or may not join us, depending on if he can get back in time. Last week we tried to show remotely from North Carolina, and we tried out our new system, and it worked fairly well. We discovered a few things that didn't work quite right with it, but we're back in the studio this week, and everything should work just like it's supposed to. Let's see, Glenn, how you doing, man? Glad you're with us tonight.
Yeah, hanging in there. Slowly but surely getting stuff cleaned off. Like I was saying in the pre-show, I have been busting it at work, and that's kind of bled over into the home time some. And I should have that wrapped up here in another week or two. I've been ordering parts like crazy, and they've actually been coming in. So I've got some new toys coming. About the only new toy that I can show that's even close related to ham radio right now is I got me a new keyboard to play with.
Oh, man, that's so cool.
This is one of those old school typewriter style keyboards.
Yeah.
And it's actually got LED lights behind everything, but it has that look and feel of those old manual typewriters.
All right. Well, when you get that thing working on some project, we're going to talk about it on the show one night. I'd like to hear what you're going to do with it there,
I'm going to make a servo-driven manual typewriter.
All right. Well, great. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to do with it here. Hey, my friend KM4QBC is in here with us tonight. That's Jeff. And Jeff is, that's where I was last weekend. I was over in Tuckasegee, North Carolina at our home over there. We went there after the Hamfest in Sevierville. And Pastor Jeff there, my ham friend there that I've known now for quite a while, came over and visited a while, and we made him a 40-meter antenna. He needed a 40-meter antenna, and we talked about it on the show last week. I don't know if anybody really, if it came through well or not. Hey, I'm going to give you... I love going over there. I love going over to North Carolina and visiting with people like Jeff and his sons and the other hams. He's in here right now, and I'm going to do this for Jeff and for Brady, and I'm going to do about 45 seconds. Not going to do the whole thing, but guys, this is what our front porch looks like from time to time over in North Carolina. So don't go away if you don't like the music. Just stick around. It's not going to hurt your ears that much. But here we go.
Keyword is that much.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, so I just want you guys to know that happens sometimes on our front porch over there, and I kind of like it. I'm trying to join the band there, and you know, Martin is down here at the college down here in Mississippi, and there's a lot of cowbells down here. I'm trying to get a cowbell. I'd like to join the band there and play the cowbell. You know, you can never have too much cowbell, and I think I can handle the cowbell in here. So, Jeff, I'm waiting to hear from you if I can join the band. Now, that band is called, I think, the Three Dead Possums, and it was named after, I think, one of the band guys saw a couple of dead possums on the road, and they named their group the Dead Possums. So I don't know. We do need more cowbell there. Okay. Sorry if the audio was too hot.
The audio's way too hot.
Yeah, sorry if the audio was too hot. I'll have to work on that some other time here. But anyway, that's the kind of fun we have over there. We have ham radio fun, and we build antennas, and we make some contacts out there on the front porch, and then we break out the guitars and have fun doing that. All right, let's see. So, what am I going to talk about tonight? Boy, I've got lots of things that I want to do here. You know, it's starting to cool off now. Glenn, it's been too hot to do any antenna work. You know? It's been really too hot. So, it's starting to cool off now. I've got me a new 40-meter delta loop I'm going to be putting up. I just shot a couple lines over a tree this week, and hey, I bought me some small rope at the Sevierville Hamfest. I bought about 3,000 feet of rope for $20. It looks like some pretty good stuff. I also have some of that antenna rope. I think I got a whole spool of that black, I think it's Dacron or something. That stuff does not rot. Man, I had that stuff out on the antennas, and I'll pull it up over a tree limb, and I'll wad up maybe 100 feet of the rope, and it'll lay there on the ground. It gets wet, it lays on the ground, and it's just as strong today as it was 2 years ago. The stuff just does not rot.
Yeah, that's that paracord type stuff.
Yeah, it's some good stuff, man. And I got to get out there and get those antennas put up. I really need to do some antenna work before winter. Get everything straightened up.
Yeah, hey. I do too. The 40-meter leg on my cobweb got hit by the pine trees again.
Yeah.
Every time they drop a limb, it hits the 40-meter leg.
All right, well, it looks like I'm an honorary possum, it looks like. So I don't know. I don't know if that allows me to play the cowbell or not, but, need more cowbell, man. Need more cowbell. And if anybody's seen that Saturday Night Live sketch, you know what I'm talking about. More cowbell, more cowbell. Let's see. Yeah, I think at the Akron, at 3:30 seconds is what I've got, a whole brand new spool of that.
A roll of that stuff.
Yeah, that's some good stuff out there. Hey, we launched a balloon, and I see Hyde in here, WX4HYD. And thank you, Hyde, for bringing us down to the Sevierville Ham Fest last week, and and getting us to do a talk there. We really enjoyed it. We had a good turnout for the for my talk, and then we went out and launched the balloon. The balloon was just a small Pico balloon, and I carried with us some party hydrogen. It must have been pretty bad. Our maximum altitude was 18,400 feet. That's where we were flying, and we made it up past Maine and crossed into Canada, and that's the last we heard about it when it went to sleep that night. So there were storms up there. There were some storm clouds as high as 35,000 feet up there in that area, and we're only flying at 18. So I suspect that we probably got water on us and we came down. But one of the things I'm going to do is, it's been on my mind a long time. I want to break that glass ceiling barrier for Pico balloons. You only have a couple options out there. You can fly the cheap Chinese balloons that'll fly about 28,000 feet. That's one balloon. Or you can buy an SPS balloon, which costs about $170 each. And that SPS balloon will only fly as high as about 44,000 feet. That's the maximum. And what sets the maximum height there is the volume of that balloon. And once that gas gets to super pressure and that balloon can't expand anymore, then it floats at that altitude. So there's nothing else available out there. Now, true, if you had, if you wanted to spend, $1,000, $5,000, I'm sure you could find something out there that would fly higher.
Yeah, used weather balloon.
A weather balloon will not work for this application. You cannot use a weather balloon as a floater balloon. A weather balloon is latex. I've talked to the companies. They're also made to deteriorate with UV light. So they're supposed to destroy themselves very quickly. And a weather balloon will just keep going up and up and up until it expands so much it pops.
That's what I was saying. I used one.
Yeah, I used one. Yeah, and I have one here. So weather balloon is not the way to go here. But guess what? Mylar balloons seem to be the best. They don't leak. The gas just does not leak through the Mylar. It doesn't leak through the goodbye, Ed. It doesn't leak through the Mylar, and but the Mylar balloons have been very small. They're like 3-foot diameter balloons, and that's where we're only going to get about 25,000 feet. So I've been looking for material, and you just can't find it out there. And everybody that does this has been looking for years, but I think I've kind of hit the jackpot. Mylar is what we need. This is very strong. It doesn't really stretch. It'll hold the pressure, and the gas won't leak through it very much, and it's light. Again, the Mylar balloons are only like 3 foot, low altitude. So I have found, look at this, these are Mylar sleeping bags, emergency sleeping bags.
No way.
This is a Mylar emergency sleeping bag, and guess what? This bag is 7 foot long and about 66 inches in circumference. So this will make a fairly good sized balloon, and the weight is perfect. So we're going to be experimenting with this. But guess what? Tonight I found an extra large Mylar blanket that is not only 7 feet long, it's 144 inches wide. So it's going to have about 4 times the volume of this. So I think, and putting the calculations in, we might be able to easily make us a Mylar balloon that could fly maybe in the 65,000 foot range.
Cool.
I'm hoping to get in the low 50s and break that glass ceiling of that SPS. But we could fly 60. So one of the things I'm going to try to do over the next few weeks is get another tracker going and built, and we're going to launch a sleeping bag. We're going to launch a sleeping bag. Now the weight of the sleeping bag is equivalent to the weight of an SPS balloon, so it's good as far as weight. It's good as far as strength. So we're real, I guess, happy that we found something that might work. So that's going to give us something to do the next couple weeks out in the shop. Yeah, called space blankets. Okay, I have to look that up. The blanket itself. First of all, this sleeping bag is almost identical size of an SPS balloon, so it should fly at about the same altitude as an SPS balloon, about 43,000 feet. It's lighter, and it's about the same size. It's a couple inches narrower.
Heck of a lot cheaper.
And guess what? This is about $1.50 versus $170. Now, people have been trying to find something that will work for years, and nobody's been able to do it. But I think we may be on something here. The large blanket, the 7 foot by 144 inches width. That's about $6.50, so it's still very reasonable. I ordered some of the large blankets tonight, and we will.
Can you seal those blankets together, or how do you do that? Are they?
Yeah, and just like on major commercial balloons,